The story I'm about to tell you actually happened to my dad while he was stationed in South Korea back in the winter of 1969. Anyway, here's his story. My dad had just finished a tour in Vietnam when he was stationed at Camp Casey in Dongdaecheon, South Korea. His job at Camp Casey was to patrol the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, making sure the North Koreans didn't goad the Americans or South Koreans into another conflict. Now, it was November 4th, 1969, when my dad realized something was amiss after 4 soldiers patrolling the DMZ went missing. Now, the higher-ups chalked it up to desertion, as the Vietnam War was brewing. That was until several more soldiers went missing while out on patrol. A few weeks later, my dad was on duty near one of the outposts, located northeast of the DMZ, when he heard shouting coming from the North Korean side. His initial thought was that they were messing with him, until he saw them cover a bloody body up with a sheet. As he watched them cover the body, he could hear something behind him growl, low and guttural, like no animal he'd heard before. He grew up in the woods of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Later, my dad reported what he witnessed to his superiors, purposely omitting the part about the sound he heard. Eventually, though, they cordoned off that part of the DMZ, after 8 more soldiers went missing. The U.S. Army decided then to send in some specialists to, as they put it, remedy the situation. A 12-man team was assembled and sent in to investigate. Of course, my dad was ordered to assist them because he spoke Korean. My dad and his team reached the spot around 6 p.m., which was located in a more secluded area of the DMZ, and set up camp, where they each agreed to take turns standing guard for several hours. When it was finally my dad's turn, he got all his gear together and began to patrol the area near the camp. It was very chilly that night, so he decided to have a cigarette, hoping it would keep him warm. As he stood there smoking his cigarette, he heard a rustling sound from behind him. Turning around, he caught a glimpse of something tall, and he drew his weapon. "Who's there?" he shouted, but was met only with silence. "If you don't show yourself now, I'm gonna shoot," he shouted again. This time he heard it. A low, guttural growl, the same one he heard several weeks before. Scared out of his mind, he began shooting at the thing and missed as it moved towards him in a rapid speed. He shouted for all the men in the camp to wake up. The creature moved with such swiftness that he didn't have time to react, as it snatched up the men running from their tents. During the chaos, he could hear men screaming as the creature bit into them and crunching their bones. It was at this point he decided it was in his best interest to hide under a body he spotted near an overgrown path, who he recognized as Sergeant Miller, and play dead. As he lay there, still as a rock, the creature approached him and began sniffing at Miller's body. He prayed to God to keep him safe. After 10 minutes, it eventually gave up, and my dad knew he'd be okay. A few weeks later, he filed a report and learned that the 3 other men survived the attack. Later on, he learned that a woman, distraught over her daughter's murder by a U.S. soldier, sought out a shaman to seek vengeance on him, and in the process, released something ancient. He also found out much later that all the soldiers who vanished while patrolling the DMZ were involved in the woman's murder. To this day, 50 years later, my dad is still haunted by what he saw and will never step foot in Korea again. Chronicler here. I would like to thank Gdokim for allowing us to tell their story. If you want to hear more of their story, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on our videos. If you want to read more stories like this one, be sure to check out the author's link in the description and show them some love. If you're interested in having your story narrated, be sure to reach out to our humble overseer as he continues his journey to pull the darkest stories from the infinite depths of the internet. Until next time, fiends, and remember, we are darkness.